All right, sorry. We'll just crack on with what you were saying about the cinema. You got a newfound
Yeah,
appreciation for the Fountain Park up here. I have had like 5 or less hours sleep, so my brain is just not functioning today.
5 less than what?
No, 5 or less hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
right, okay.
so I'll do my
Lovely.
best.
A fun Sunday night then?
No, I woke up in the middle of the night and can go back to sleep. So
So, baller stuff
baller,
then.
baller Monday morning at 3 a.m.
Whoa. Night partying hard. Yeah. No, it's just given me a newfound appreciation for the cinemas up in Edinburgh because I think in general, I still need to explore cinemas down here. But in general, I was going to say the megalopolis. That is not the word. The like conglomerate kind of cinemas, the ones that are owned by corporations, they've kind of been shitty down here. Granted, I have the Cineworld pass, and the Cineworld that's near me is not good. Like the seats, are decades old. I would say. Like there was a seat, and it was just like puncturing my back the entire time. They're
Ooh,
not like the nice leather
you
seats that we
didn't
have in
like fall
Edinburgh.
into 40X or something.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching like Mortal Kombat, and this guy is just punching my back. Um, and then I went to the Leicester Square one. I've been a few times. The Leicester Square cinema's really bizarre,
Do you mean
like
the
really
Odeon?
bizarre.
Because there's a
No,
few.
so I've been to the Cineworld.
I've not been at the City World there. I've done the
So the
Odeon in Prince
Odeon,
Charles.
yeah, the Odeon's like famous because I ended up speaking to a guy when I was watching one battle after another, and he was telling me like the history of the cinema and like the premieres he saw there, and it was like really cool stuff. And that has like a history in London. As far as I'm aware, the others don't. Like Cineworld, I went to a secret screening, and that was a super screen, which we don't have in Scotland, which is basically just like bigger and like better sound, but
Hmm.
not IMAX.
What's the
Weird.
point?
And then, yeah, exactly. And then the other day, I went and saw the Smashing Machine, and like, it was 4 rows. This was screen one. It was 4 rows, and it was like a tiny ass cinema. It was a lovely viewing experience, but it genuinely felt like a cinema somebody would have in their basement. It was so weird, and I was like, "You're telling me this is the premier cinema for this company in London, and this is your Scream One?" It was just a really bizarre experience. I've obviously been to like others, but they cost money. Like the BFI's absolutely lovely. Like all the actually most of the screens I've been in, there is one where I don't know if you've been to BFI South Bank before,
The I've been to the IMAX screen,
but not the
but not the
actual
rest of them.
BFI.
Yeah, I've not even walked in the other building. I was so confused when I
Oh,
got to the.
what?
I didn't know how it worked. 'Cause I was only going to the IMAX screen, so I followed that route, and then I got there and I was like, "This place just has an IMAX screen." I wasn't aware until afterwards there was a tunnel leading to another building.
That's really funny because I feel like people have the opposite experience where they cannot find the BFI IMAX for the
Right.
life of them.
Hmm.
Because for anybody that doesn't know, you have to go underneath a roundabout, and it is not clear, at least from when I went the first time, like how to get there. But the BFI normal, there's like a really lovely screen one that I was in the other day, which is like huge and it's filled with like cinema fans and stuff. But their screen two is like a normal cinema, but there's not two ways to get up to the or down to the stairs, to the chairs. So you have to go through everybody to get to the like aisle, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So like if you get to the aisle and somebody has to get out, they have to just get through all the people to get out of the cinema.
Yeah, that
It's really
sucks.
irritating. Yeah.
To be fair, the IMAX screen that we always went to, that I'm still going to, like, because of
Yes.
the numbering, you when you walk in, one to whatever starts on the other side, the other corner of the room. So when people go down to take their seats, they don't walk around the back. if they're in the first like half of the numbering for a
Do they
row.
not?
Well,
Oh,
people
you're
just
right.
come down and then they just
Yeah,
cross
yeah,
through. They don't think to do it. And if you go in that way and you have no spatial awareness, then um, you don't realize that there's an aisle on the other side that you can walk out of and then go around the back. So you'll just come back out that way if you need to go to the toilet.
yeah. I hope this is a really interesting conversation for people.
I'm interested
Uh,
in cinemas. It matters to
so I
me.
mean, it's like one of the perks of being down here is like just exploring different cinemas. And I mean, with London Film Festival, I after this call, I need to show you my calendar for the next 2 weeks because I'm still working and I'm trying to fit in, I think, 30 films.
Good for you, dude.
um, yeah, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'll get to experience a lot of the different cinemas around, um, and for free, so that's fun.
Oh, because you
Um,
got like actual press pass for it.
yeah,
Nice. Forgot about
yeah. I have to wake up every morning though and secure my tickets. This morning was the first morning, and I was like shitting myself. I woke up at 6, which is the first I normally do, but this is the first time in a while I have because I've just been so exhausted. But I got up and I was like there, I was like ready, I was ready, and then the page broke, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get to see Knives Out. No,
So,
I got it
so
though.
you were securing your ticket for what date?
Um, this Wednesday. So you have to book tickets 2 days in advance. So I'm gonna have to do this every morning
That's
basically for the next 2 weeks.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously they're showing them up here, but it all opened up like ages ago.
Yeah. I
Um.
mean, same for like public. These are like the
Oh,
press
sorry,
screenings.
you've got the nice screenings.
I did though, I secured a public screening by sheer luck. I'm going to the premiere, like the UK premiere of
World
Hamnet.
premiere.
World premiere
Sorry, of what? Hamnet.
of Hamnet. Yeah.
Nice.
Randomly got seats for that. So that's fun. I guess I'll just update you weekly on
Yeah, I look
like
forward
the
to it because I'll be like,
40
I saw
films I've seen.
this. Like I'll be seeing like one a week. I might go see some stuff in the film festival. We'll see. Um, the
Also,
th
I think you would find it hell if if I was like, Owen, you're watching 30 films in 2 weeks. I think you'd be
I
like, no, I'm good.
I wouldn't be here. I'd have left
Yeah.
this mortal plane.
And without further ado, welcome to episode number 41 of Plot to Go. My name's Jack.
My name's Owen.
And this week we're talking about one battle after another.
Yeah, I think we just focus on that, and
Yeah.
then we can see what we watched through the week. Because I've watched like a decent amount, but not new stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, or
Yeah,
just
that's
like
fun.
that, but like just yeah, we'll just chat about stuff. I don't know if there's news to talk about, but I thought maybe a game would be
We'll
good, but I
yap
just don't have enough
away.
time to like sit down and be like, what game are we gonna play?
Quiplash.
Lash.
A
So, what we get like
two-player Quiplash.
a third screen up, like one of us shares the screen. And there's three screens, and it's just you and me playing Quiplash.
Whoa, stay tuned. Maybe episode 50.
Is that our special? Are we gonna do a special?
Oh, of course. So we're gonna do a big old live show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many tickets do you
Uh,
think we'd sell?
I think we'd sell quite a few, but it would just be a lot of the people that we know being
Yeah.
like, ah, they're
Uh,
doing their thing.
yeah, that would be a lot of heckling, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah,
It fully would.
so maybe not.
Maybe not. But yeah, let's dive right in, I guess, to the big film of last week. Uh, one battle after another.
That was a very Graham Norton delivery.
Oh, thank you. That means a
Yeah,
lot.
no, that
Even though
was.
you hate him.
I don't hate Graham Norton. I like Graham Norton.
I'm gonna continue this sowing the
I need
seeds
to
of
stop
the
this. This rhetoric needs stopped. If I ever
never.
meet Graham Norton, he's gonna be like, "You hate me."
Yeah,
He's
because
just gonna know.
actually, I've heard in the analytics that Graham Norton is a religious listener of the show.
He's like our main viewer, right?
Yeah, he really is. He likes and comments on everything.
He's the guy that leaves all the hate comments and all the TikToks. That's Graham
Oh
Norton, isn't
God,
it?
that's Graham Norton. Um, One battle after another. This
Oh,
movie is the latest from PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson. His 10th movie, which actually I kind of
that's
want to talk to you
interesting.
about maybe after we get into it, but I was thinking about this in the context of like other famous American directors, and Tarantino being
Yeah, I know you're gonna say that.
the guy who's like my 10th film. And actually, if Paul Thomas Anderson had done a similar thing and geared this up to be his big 10th film, I think it would have been doing even better than it already is.
Also,
Not that it needs it.
a stronger filmography.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Having just like went into the world of PTA.
yeah. I've only watched half of it as
Um,
well, and I think that so.
I was actually shocked when I was logging stuff because I think this was back when you used Letterboxd. Of the movies that you'd seen
Hmm.
of his. It was interesting.
You knew one.
Um, yeah, yeah, because fun fact, Owen ditched me on New Year's Eve to go see The Phantom Thread instead of seeing Star Wars Episode 6
Look, man.
in the cinema.
Can we also preface that with that we saw episode 5 just before. So I did
Yeah.
see a film with you. You just chose
Mm-hmm.
to go watch a lesser film.
Wow. I've seen The Phantom Thread now. Nah, Episode 6 still tops.
I will hang up.
Okay, moving swiftly along before Owen hangs up. One battle after another. It's actually quite a hard film to summarize, and I think that was evident by how poorly the trailers were received.
Well,
Um,
you can't like I don't actually know how you'd give stuff away with the trailers, spoilers wise.
mhm.
But if you tried to give anything away, then I think you'd have given everything away. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's not it's not like plot heavy. So as soon as you start giving away like key plot points in the trailer, suddenly all is gone. All
yeah, yeah,
mystery
yeah.
is revealed.
I weirdly think in retrospect as well, I prefer that, like not
Uh-huh.
knowing anything. I honestly, that's the way the trailer should be. It's like these 30 seconds, get a vibe, um, and not spoil anything. But I'll try my best to summarize it. The story takes place following Leonardo DiCaprio's character Bob, and his wife, who's played by Tiana Taylor. I cannot remember her character name.
Uh
Um,
Jungle Pussy?
no, that it's not Jungle Pussy.
I don't remember
Nice
her
try.
character's actual name.
That, by the way, that scene ingrained in my brain because it was like I think the first moment of like shock comedy. I was like, what are we doing here?
Are you talking about the window with the post-it note?
No, I'm talking about the Jungle Pussy scene.
I just remember
Where
being
she,
called that. I don't remember exactly what you're.
no, 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 Owen,
Oh
the wife
wait,
isn't Jungle
no,
Pussy.
no, that's someone else.
Yeah,
I thought
the
because
note
I only
says like,
remember the name Jungle Pussy from the end of the film where they refer back to a character, and so that made me
yeah,
think that that was the wife's code name. So I don't remember what the wife's
no,
code name is.
I don't think it involved pussy.
Also, now I know exactly what scene you're talking about because yeah, I do remember the. It's a shot. Yeah, it's a shocking moment. Yeah.
Yeah, she like storms into the bank and it's like, I'm Jungle Pussy. Anyway, that's not the plot of this movie. But Bob and his wife are kind of part of a leftist revolutionary group called the French 75. And we pick up kind of in like a montagey scene of the antics that they were getting up to, the like fight for freedom and democracy that they were trying to uphold. And something happens during that period of time, and we skip forward a few decades, and we find Bob, who now has a daughter, and it is about Bob getting roped back into this like revolutionary life that he'd kind of given up, and his daughter being thrust into this world with him. This is one battle after another. That felt like TikTok-y. Never mind.
Did
Um,
it?
I felt that way. Owen, what did you think?
I from the top. Let's do this one last time,
Let's do this one last time.
like we've been here already. Let me get my notes up because I actually wrote notes. I
Oh,
did
he
this like
wrote
half an hour
notes.
ago. Uh,
Jungle Pussy funny.
right. I've seen this film twice.
Oh, fuck off! Really?
Yeah, I have because I needed to know how I felt about it. Um,
Huh?
yeah, yeah, because I wasn't necessarily in the same boat as everybody else.
Hmm.
Um,
And when you say
initially,
everybody,
I
you
mean
truly mean
everybody. Yeah, there's just an explosive outpour of love for this film.
yeah.
It's been so well praised, and so I mean, you know the way that I'm wired. I don't like hearing stuff kind of
Yeah.
beforehand. It really like throws me in a certain direction.
Hmm.
Whether that's spoilers, and you know what I'm like anything's a spoiler. Like, don't tell me anything about a film or a TV show that you're watching. Don't. I'd hesitate to be like recommend something to me. Tell me something's like my vibe or something, but don't tell me something's good. Um. So anyway, because of that, because of how kind of hyped up this film was, I think
Hmm.
there was part of me that was expecting more still, which I know is kind of crazy to say because the film is very good. But I walked out kind of still having those thoughts in my head. I think I was expecting something just absolutely groundbreaking.
Mm.
Um, the the things that I kind of didn't particularly love the first time round, because I do have negatives, surprisingly, I think. Um, I had some gripes with some shot choices in my first viewing. There's a lot of really like tight close-ups in this film. And the first time that I saw it, I wasn't a huge fan of them, and I'll get to why, but I disagree with myself on a second viewing.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, Also, the ending, not the
Mm.
climax. The climax was incredible both times, but there's some scenes afterwards that I wasn't. I wasn't sold on. There was something there that I didn't connect with.
Mm.
Um, Again, changed up on a second viewing. Um, and I have different gripes, but I think I know where the my initial kind of feelings came from a second viewing. Um, this time, my first bullet point, I've just got love, love, love. I came out of this and I absolutely loved it the second time around. Um, I do
In a
think
different
this.
way to you perceiving it the first time. You didn't have that. I loved this, even though you had gripes the first time.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't walk out being like, I love this. I remember walking out
Huh.
being like, this is this was. I could recognize all the parts of it that were great. Do you know?
Mm.
For example, the comedy in this film is unreal, and I don't laugh at a lot of films, and I was laughing my ass off. Um, I think it's. I think comedy is arguably comedy and horror. I think the hardest mediums to
Hmm.
like master. Um, in film and TV, I think getting someone to laugh is very difficult. Getting someone to not laugh at your horror as well is very difficult. But putting that aside, like comedy is, I think, so difficult to do. Um, if you got someone up on stage doing stand up, it's just them trying to land a joke. But if you put comedy in a film, there's so much that you're having to work around that.
Mm.
And this film manages it. So there was plenty of parts that I walked out loving, but I didn't necessarily love the film as a package.
Hmm.
Um, I still don't think it's perfect, because I don't think it does anything, like I said, groundbreaking. But what it does is it just executes everything that it does is masterful, and I think that's you could call that groundbreaking in itself. But there was nothing. There was I never felt like I was juggling like new ideas or anything. There was nothing shocking to me or anything. This film
Hmm.
isn't for that. That's not what this film is, and that's not that. So it's not really a criticism. It's just I think that's what I was going and expecting maybe the first time around,
Mm.
and what I actually got was a near perfect package. Um, so I thought from the top, and I think I thought this the first time around as well. I think the performances are incredible.
Hmm.
Um, I genuinely think I loved every single one. I don't have a gripe with anyone in this film. I think there's been a lot of times that we've reviewed things and I've come away and been like, oh, there's this one person that maybe let things down. I never felt like that. I think this is my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performance. I think,
Wow.
yeah, I'm so sold on this character and his
Mm.
place in it. Um, Again, like shockingly good at comedy.
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street was obviously like that is quite funny. Leonardo DiCaprio is doing a lot in that film, but in this, I just there's that scene where he's on. Well, there's multiple scenes where he's on the phone,
Oh, yeah.
but
I know
you
exactly
know,
what you're on about, though.
there's like that point where he's like, calm down, calm down, calm down.
Yeah.
Takes a long draw of a joint, and both times that got the audience to laugh. I think that's impressive.
Hmm.
I think the first there's always going to be a greater reaction on like an opening night because people have gone there really want to see a film. But I went like 9 days later or something, and still there like people were laughing. Um,
Mm.
I loved the way that this film was shot this time around. I was talking about the super duper close ups. I realized on a second watch because I think I was able to sit and watch this with a more analytical mind. I think the first time I watched it, I was both immersing myself in a film and then trying to dissect it at the same time, and it didn't quite work. Um, a lot of those close-ups are on Sean Penn, and I think that serves a purpose in this film. I think that's fantastic. I think his performance is incredible, and so I can see why those choices were made. I've
Mm.
realized that maybe some of my issues are with the focus puller.
Huh.
There's at least three instances in this film where, because things have been so tight, and I don't think any of these shots are on Sean Penn, but they're so tight on some actors that when the camera's moving, the focus drifts in and out every now and again. And I know that's such a small gripe, but I don't think it has a purpose in the film unless I'm missing something. And it makes me sit there and go, oh, I'm watching a film. And so it just throws me out a little bit.
Mm.
It's tiny, but it's something that did bother me. Um, I really like the color grading of this film. There's so much yellow at points that I just there's the part with the Christmas Adventurers Club, which means absolutely nothing if you've not seen the film.
Mm.
When you first meet them, and I just love the way that that room's lit and shot and color graded.
Hmm.
Um, and I think
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that just carries out throughout the rest of the film. It doesn't matter where you are. There's a scene in a dojo, and there's windows, and the way that everything's framed, you know exactly where you are. You're following this character up and down a room. The lights go
Mm.
out. It's still perfectly lit. It's fantastic. Um, I said the final scenes post climax. I wasn't a huge fan of the first time round. I prefer them way more this time. I don't know what it was. I did. There was a point where I was sitting right at the end of right at the end of the climax, and I thought this is where the film maybe could end, and I was wondering why it didn't. And then because I was sitting there thinking that on the second watch as we were getting through each scene. I was like, oh, everything has a purpose here. I understand what it's trying to convey. It's literally just trying to convey the name of the film. It's one battle after another, um, and you could have got that message across a few scenes before, but there is a reason that each scene is thereafter. Um, the thing, one of the gripes that I have on a second watch is just before that final hurrah is there's just some part of me that felt like the film was meandering a little bit, and just needed
Mm.
tightened up the tiniest bit. Um, I don't know how strongly I feel about that, but on a third watch, whenever that happens, I'm going to really pay attention and see how I feel about that. Because I'm not sure what it is exactly that had me feeling that way, but it just had my attention drifting, and I was able to sit there and think, oh, I felt kind of similar the first time around, and I thought it was just me, but the second time I'm feeling it, so I don't know if it is the film. Um, the tension and comedy are so perfectly balanced. I've already said that. I don't think anyone can argue with that. Um, just brilliant across the board. Um, again, I have tiny gripes, that cause me to be like, oh, I can't call this like the perfect film. There is a point where, and I know you're not a fan of voiceovers, but I don't know if this would have bothered you at all. There's a point where we jump in time, and it's this kind of really well shot or edited moment, I guess, where you see this character as a baby and then as a teenage girl,
Mhm.
and the jump is that is perfectly fine. And I think it's great to not have like text that's like so many years later, whatever. There is a voiceover that explains how long it's been in that moment. And again, it's one of those things that just pulled me out where I was like, I don't need someone to tell me that. I was surprised at it because PTA obviously makes films where you trust the audience.
Mhm.
And I don't think that information needed to be handed out then when we actually get told it at the end of the film anyway, implicitly. Um, I love the way that this film conveys the themes of one battle after another. Don't want to get into it in too much detail because I don't want to necessarily talk about the film in so much detail. But it's not even. I only picked it up the second time, but there's a point where I think it's in the trailer. A character goes, "Oh, it's the end of the line," and the other one goes, "Oh well, it is for me, but not for you." And then just after that, he says something like ocean waves," which again matches that imagery of the roads towards the end of the film. Um, so I absolutely love that line in the second viewing. So those are my general thoughts. I probably missed some stuff, but yeah, what did you think?
I hated it. I'm so sorry.
Did you actually?
I did not like.
Oh my
No, what?
God, what? I thought you were going to be like, I hated this and I hated this and then just break down like a
Yeah,
hundred points.
no. I relate a little to the initial feeling that you had of like not necessarily think that you absolutely adore this or whatever. Not because I didn't feel it that way. I really did enjoy it, but it was like all this news before I went opening night. I got to see this in VistaVision. I'm so sorry. I'm not to be that guy,
Let's
but
get this out of the way. Let's do the bit.
yeah.
You saw it in
Um,
VistaVision. How do you feel about the VistaVision?
it was so cool. Like the
Yeah.
entire fanfare. Like I spent a lot of money on the ticket because it was stupidly expensive, but there was such a fanfare to the like the film being shown in this format. The cinema, it was the Odeon Leicester Square, so it was like massive already. That the cinema that they hold, UK premieres in, so it's already primed to be like a nice viewing experience. To put it this way, it was like a theater, like a massive theater, like on multiple floors, but they had recliner chairs. It was stupidly big. So you had recliner chairs, but you were still in a room with like hundreds of other people. Um, they had an organ come out and play music prior to, so the ads played, and then they had an organ come and play like 10 minutes of music. Super cool. And then they had a guy come out and he introduced the film and he said how special it was. Um,
I hear a little something back there. Only
that's
since you turned
outside.
round though.
That was crazy. Um,
Somebody wants to join in. For a special
yeah,
guest?
they clearly.
Sorry, I'll let you crack on.
Hey, what do you think? um, yeah, no, they had a guy come out and say like how special VistaVision was and how special this occasion was. I mean, digging into it a little bit more because I saw it in VistaVision, I wanted to learn a little bit more. The film format's cool in itself, and I thought this, but The Brutalist was shot in VistaVision. Um,
Yeah.
because I'm sure we made some sort of comment about that when we saw it. Um, but the difference was it wasn't projected in VistaVision. That was
Yeah.
immediately transferred to different film formats. This is the first film since like 1963 or something. That's been shown like filmed in VistaVision and then projected in VistaVision. So there was a whole fanfare around it. A lot of like cool film fans, mostly. I could go on a whole tangent. I'm gonna steer clear, but let me just say, some London audiences are so bad with their cinema etiquette. It's crazy.
I know. We'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about that when we're done with talking about this film.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
um, but overall, it was just such a wonderful experience. And then immediately, I knew you guys had seen it, so I was talking to a few friends already immediately after the film. And it's like, I feel like you gear yourself up to be like, well, yeah, it was great, but like, do I call it a masterpiece? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
and it's very rare that I watch something the first time and I think that anyway. So like putting pressure on a film like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It it's going to make you feel a certain type of way. I think, despite the quality of the film after it, because there has been just this hype. That's why I love festivals. It's just because you have absolutely no idea going into
Yeah,
something.
that's
I think
cool.
that is the best way to view something.
Yeah.
And again, like um, over on my TikTok, I've been like um, reviewing every PTA movie up until this because I'd only seen Licorice Pizza,
Which I'm
which
shocked
I was
at.
a I
I was
know
like,
a bad
I was like,
cinephile.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Genuinely
um,
unbelievable.
but it was nice to go into a lot of them without hype or like knowing across the board that he was a well-respected filmmaker, but not knowing it's like which films were so acclaimed or whatever.
I
So
think
I
it's
got a lot
most of
of.
them.
I mean, it truly is. It
Yeah.
really is.
But like you don't know which
'Cause
necessarily which ones are the favorites. I think I only knew when I was watching some of them that There Will Be Blood is like the one that gets talked about all the time.
Yeah, it's funny with There Will Be Blood. I kind of was like, oh, it's got memes and stuff about it, and it's like the film bro film.
It
And then I
is, yeah.
sat like in my room, and I was like, oh my god, my life has changed. This movie is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I saw this on opening night. I didn't really review it, or like I sat with my thoughts for a few days. And then as I was like piecing together stuff, weird for me as well. I didn't absorb a lot of reviews or podcasts or any of that stuff. I left it to myself to be like, oh, I want to internalize and like think about this a little more. I think especially with his films, there is so much to latch onto and to dissect. But with this film being so timely and so relevant to the world that we're living in, I think you would be stupid not to sit with this movie for a bit and think, what is he trying to say about our society, or what can I pull from this that's speaking to how I feel about the world at the moment? And through all of that, I am flirting with calling this movie a masterpiece because I, in my eyes, I feel like it's kind of faultless. Kind of some of the things that you said to like pick up on little threads. Comedy is so undersung in cinema in general. I think Amy Poehler has like a really interesting like diatribe that she goes on about like how disregarded it is in like awards bodies and stuff as well. But I think further than that, it's just not necessarily as respected just with like film fans. Like I feel like when you see a lot of, Letterboxd top four videos or all this stuff, comedy's rarely there, or when it is, it's like, yeah, and guess I'll chuck in Superbad because like it's a pretty good
It's
movie.
always super bad.
It's always Superbad, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, Superbad's great, but like it's
Yeah.
it's always
Why is
Superbad.
that the one? Why is it never like Hot Fuzz, huh? Before I feel like
Oh,
Hot
Hot
Fuzz is
Fuzz is
one.
such a good movie.
I love Hot
Um,
Fuzz.
but it's really hard to do comedy, and it's really hard to do comedy and pair that with something that is gritty and captivating and thrilling. It's even harder to do all that with an added layer of social commentary. And if you want to add another layer onto that, it's hard to do that without feeling preachy or without feeling like too on the nose, or it's just hard to do all of the things that he did. They're hard like modes of cinema, if you want to call it that. Like thrillers are exceptionally hard to do in the same vein as horror, because it is like, if you don't captivate an audience, if you don't capture them initially, you've lost them for the entire runtime. This movie's nearly 3 hours. If you're not in it from the start, you're not in it. Like, and I think that's one of the things that this movie does so well, is from the first sequence, which, having seen, I feel like if people have seen um, other movies of his, they'll be able to pick up on this. But I think watching them all consecutively back to back, I've noticed something that he does that I really enjoy is, I can't think of a word to describe them, but the best word that I can put to them is like montages, where like we spend 30, 40 minutes on a sequence that is essentially giving us like heaps of exposition, but it's not through dialogue.
Mm.
Um, and it's like chugging through and churning through a lot of plot, a lot of different locations, a lot of characters, and it's kind of like dialogueless. I'm pretty sure the start of There Will Be Blood is like a 20-minute no dialogue
Right.
sequence. This is very similar at the start. There's not a lot of dialogue. The like performances are carrying this early bit, and I think it speaks a lot to Tiana Taylor, who's only in that movie for what, 20-30 minutes, but she leaves such a lasting impact
Yeah.
throughout the entire movie. And she's not given a lot of dialogue. It is mainly her conveying this political struggle, and then her relationship with Leo, which I thought was spectacular. But just these like sequences, they're kind of dotted um amongst the film later on, but less so. It is mainly that opening sequence that just like encapsulates this world so perfectly. And I feel like from there, you're just in. You have a like small bit of relief, I guess, when we have this time jump. But then you're back into the action, the tension, and then it's like non-stop from there until the end. And I think that is why, to jump kind of to the end, why that last scene is so successful. I genuinely think it is one of, or it should be considered in the conversation of one of the best action sequences ever put to screen, because of how simple it is.
Hmm.
It is literally, I guess, slight spoilers for what the end of the movie action sequence is, but it's literally four people in cars chasing each other on a road that goes up and down, like a hilly road. That's it. And it lasts a while, like it's, I don't know, maybe like 10, 15 minutes or something, but they find ways to like amp up the stakes. At this point as well, you are so invested in these characters. So you really care about them. I think that's where the tension comes from. And that's sometimes what is just missing from action movies,
Hmm.
from blockbusters in general, is if you don't care for the characters, then you're not going to be invested in these fight sequences or these action scenes and stuff. And I think, not to make a Marvel comparison in this review, but I think that's why the MCU got so much, garnered so much praise in its early days, because they're good at crafting characters. You're invested in these charming actors that are playing these cool characters. If the movie surrounding it is shit or whatever, but if you like the character enough, if you're invested in them, you're going to be invested in the action sequences. I think here it's just doing it on another level where it's like this complete rise in tension that gets to like dissipate in a single sequence. That sequence though as well, it's not only just a good action sequence. Like our crowd, I don't know if your crowds have been the same there's both times you've seen it, but we're gasping and like clenching and like
I
at
was
the
too locked
littlest
in.
of things. Yeah. Sorry, when I say our audience, I was meaning me. I was there like, no, no.
Yeah, no,
But you
I
are,
was too focused.
but it's like I feel like everybody in the cinema is like you are just so in it at that point. So you have that all of that going on, and then as you mentioned, it is a visual metaphor for the entirety of the film, which I think is just genius because it just adds another layer to like a purposeful action sequence. It ties back into the title. It's just thematically relevant, and I think that's when action sequences are at their best. Is when they're like they've got some like tie to the plot or to themes or something. More so than that, though, I was having a conversation with a friend, and he had a slight gripe about um Sean Penn's character, who I will get to. Sean Penn's character. Um, oh fuck, this is I guess a spoiler. Never mind.
Maybe avoid it,
Something
but were you going to
happens.
talk about the sort of ending of the film?
No, tied to that. So something happens to Sean Penn's character.
A reveal,
And
perhaps?
yes, yes. And my friend was saying that they kind of thought that was a bit ridiculous. And sure, I actually think it is. But, and this literally just in speaking to him, I was like, oh, I actually think it is just another layer on that, like, already super layered idea of this one battle after another. It's leaning into genre, which is cool in itself. It's pulpy and it's actiony and it feels like a blockbuster. Terminator, like RoboCop, all those like 80s movies would have something like this. But I also think it's like thematically relevant in that an ideology will never be killed, that you can try your best to stamp out an ideology, but it will always return. And actually, the only way that that ideology can be like removed is from people elsewhere talking around this, um, choosing to remove that person out of it. Opposing ideologies in this like political sense aren't going to take each other out. They're just not
Hmm.
because evil breeds a new head or whatever. Like cut off the head of a hydra and like two more grow back. Like all these things about the Western political world at the moment, and not even at the moment, the cyclical nature of like fascism and conservatism and all this stuff. I think what happens to Sean Penn's character is actually this like super validating cherry on top of this like thematic cake that he's crafted, and it in speaking to my friend, I was just I honestly have even more praise for like PTA for writing something like that,
Hmm.
where it's kind of a microcosm for the entire film. It at once is pulpy and fun and leans into genre, but it is also so layered and complex if you want to afford it that. And I just think it's genius. The entire film feels like that to me. Like, oh,
The what you said about the montage at the start,
mm,
um, yeah, just fantastic. I think it's so difficult to do that and have it feel like someone knows what they're doing. Like I think it's so easy
hmm
to make a like most montages just are not interesting. They kind of feel lazy most of the time, because they are trying to catch you up. But somehow PTA managed to do it in a way where you're like, oh, this is integral. I feel like I'm getting so much out of this. And I think it comes down to the way that he's edited it, and the pacing. And
oh, hmm
um, you're talking about the film just going after a certain point. I actually didn't feel like it did after a certain point. I think it knew exactly when to speed up and slow down. I think there was still moments where it managed to slow down in the sort of more tense parts of the film,
But
and it still works.
I fully agree, but I still think there's like an undercurrent of tension, and I mean that in the most like complimentary way. Like
Hmm.
the
Yeah, I mean, there is a point about it's honestly probably as early as the halfway point where there is tension for
Mhm.
the rest of the film.
Yeah,
Um, but he's just the way that he manages to to just go and then stop and go and stop, and you're there for it the whole time
totally.
is incredible.
Yeah,
And
this
yeah,
movie's edited to perfection.
yeah, I
Like
think
to
so.
I think to have a film as long as this as well, and for everybody to get out and be like, how the fuck was that as long
Yeah,
as that?
actually, on that point, the film does not feel long at all.
Hmm.
And it's very long. And I felt it the first time around. I felt like it was even shorter the second time around,
Oh,
which
really? That's so
never
fascinating.
happens. So,
Huh.
yeah, I think he has it down to a T.
Mm. But a
Yeah.
lot of his movies feel like that. They are just like, oh, I want to exist in this world longer. And the movie's long. You're like, oh, let me stay, please. Like,
Oh, I actually
oh,
think it has like probably one of my I'm going to say one of my favorite shots of all time. I'm being hyperbolic, or like scenes. It's just a bit where a character falls down through a tree in an alley,
oh my God.
runs around a
I
corner,
don't
and gets
know.
tasered.
It looks phenomenal.
I
I
don't know
don't
how
know how it
that's
looks so
shot,
real. Yeah.
and also just like the way that that stops things and how funny it
Yeah.
is, but also now you're like, oh, you get like the first time I watched it, there's just like this sinking feeling that you get when that happens as well,
Hmm.
even though you're laughing at it. It's given the context of what's happening around it, it's incredible.
Yeah. It's so good. Uh, Picking up on that, kind of what you were saying earlier about Leo, I'm fascinated that you think that this is his best performance, but because I can see it, I understand.
Mhm.
I honestly, he's one of these people that I feel like is a box office draw for a lot of people, and every time he's in a movie, I don't really think much about it. I'm like, oh, it's a Leo
I feel
DiCaprio movie,
similar.
and then I watch the movie, and then I'm like, do you know what? I think he's got something every single time.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
He is phenomenal. He really transforms into the characters that he's playing. And high praise to him in here. Comedy's hard. He's so funny in this. The like physical comedy he has, as you were saying, like the smoking, the like the little bits that he has, the little intonations he has, and the way he delivers lines as well.
Yep.
It's so funny. It
Yeah.
just
Sorry.
no go
I
go.
I could hear him doing that. He's on the phone. He's like, "You're a little nitpicking prick," and it's just like the way he's putting emphasis on it the whole time is
Yeah,
incredible.
that scene specifically being like in a room with Benicio del Toro, who's playing the polar opposite, and he is so calm and suave. And I imagine on a rewatch as well that entire sequence you pick up on a lot more because I think the first time you were watching it, you are Leo. You were like so like what is happening? What's happening? Benicio del Toro is doing so much, just so calmly and like in the background. One of my favorite bits is when like he's like, "What's the time?"
8:15.
he, he only hears part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It's so good.
When I watched that
Um,
the first time, I picked up on that being like he knew what to say back on the phone,
right.
but that's not the case.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, Shout out as well, Chase Infinity. Um, Fucking amazing name. Which I
Hmm.
don't know if you've heard how she came up with it.
No.
So people are like finding their Chase Infinity names because she picked a character from a movie that she liked the name of. So she picked Chase Meridian.
That's a
Bonus
good
points
name.
if you know which movie.
Chase
Chase Meridian.
Meridian.
I think that's her
Uh,
name.
her. Did I
Uh,
get a clue?
her.
More than her.
Uh, you want a clue more than her?
Yeah.
Um, before you were born?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is it like an animated movie?
No, you've definitely seen this movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Chase Meridian.
Chase Meridian.
I I genuinely have no idea what this could be.
She is Nicole Kidman in, and he doesn't have it. Batman Forever? Batman and Robin. Batman Forever. Yeah, Batman. It's Batman and Forever, isn't it? Is that the one Nicole Kidman's in?
Who does she play?
Chase
Well, sorry,
Meridian,
she plays
Owen.
Chase Meridian, but who the fuck is Chase Meridian? It's
Um, it's Batman Forever. She is a
Dude, I'm never gonna
um
forget this now that you've told me this. Dr.
she's a
Chase Meridian.
psychologist. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you not remember her on the roof? Like she's truly awful in the movie, in my opinion.
I mean, fair enough. I don't think people are generally good in that film.
No.
Drew
Um
Barrymore's in that film as well, apparently. I don't remember like actors being in this film.
yeah, so she combined Chase Meridian with To Infinity and Beyond. So people are creating their Chase Infinity names where it's a fictional character from a movie a few years before you were born and a famous phrase from a movie that you like. Um,
Excellent.
I haven't seen any nearly as cool as Chase Infinity.
Should that be our game?
Jesus, yeah, okay. Um, but I had a point. Oh yeah, she's spectacular. She truly is.
Yep.
Again, one of these performances that's doing a lot and she's not saying a lot. The tension a lot rides on her. There's some really good scenes, particularly near the end with
Hmm.
her,
She does
that
some
is
incredible,
just
just like facial
oh
acting.
amazing. Yeah.
Um, she also has a line very close to the end of the film where she says, "Who are you?" but twice, and the delivery, I think it's twice, but the delivery
Yes. Oh,
is so layered.
because right, that bit specifically, you think the tension's gone, in my opinion. Like you get a
Yeah, you
relief.
think.
Oh no. Hmm.
Yeah, you froze on my screen. You good?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Spectacular. Truly, truly amazing stuff. Sean Penn.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't sing his praises while I was talking, but I don't think I have to.
He, I mean, he's introduced a new walk into the zeitgeist. So
It gets more exaggerated as the film goes
I
on as
love it.
well. Yeah,
The slow-mo scene of him walking down the stairs.
there's the scene of him walking with the other person in the hallway, and they both have funny walks,
Mhm.
which I don't know if it's me just nitpicking the actor's walk next to him, but they both look funny walking down that corridor.
Maybe it's like some sort of like commentary on him also trying to like weasel his way in or something.
Mhm.
Um, he's absolutely spectacular. I mean, a truly villainous, horrible human being, but so intricately characterized. Like, I think you are able to have sympathy for him in some moments or understand where his motives are coming from. And I think that's always like a more interesting route to take villains is to
Mhm.
be not necessarily sympathetic. I don't think he deserves any sympathy, but
No, I know what you mean.
understanding
You can
of him.
empathize with how he's feeling because of how well he performs it, and
Uh-huh.
because of those shots that for some reason I was criticizing the first time around that are right up in his grill, where you're seeing everything that's happening. And even
Uh-huh.
though there's the, I mean, he does like the exaggerated lip stuff and things. You you feel exactly what's going on. Like you can see what he's thinking in
Mm,
any one of those moments. And you can see him feeling like he's moving up in the world and things.
yeah.
You really, yeah, he really lets you know what's happening behind those eyes.
He's just so good. Do you have anything more to say? I feel like this is one of those movies that I could talk about in circles for
Yeah,
ages and
yeah.
ages.
I think we've hit all the major phrases, to be honest, and all my baby
I think
gripes.
I think the more you get into it as well, the more I would start to untangle plot stuff, which
Yeah, that's the difficult thing because I think really you really want to talk about a lot of the ending. I think,
yeah.
but
And
I
if
mean,
people
same with
haven't
most
seen
things.
this, it's like I could not recommend this enough. It's go watch this immediately.
Yeah,
Um, I'm
I
desperate to see a rewatch, and I don't know when I'm gonna.
yeah, because I suppose you've got so many films coming up. Um, yeah, I think they're supposed to have it in the film house up here on 70 mil at least.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
in November, I think. I think tickets are open, so they're probably sold at this point. I just remember seeing it on like Instagram or something. Um, I'm just thrilled I saw it a second time. I think it was well worth it.
Mm.
Where do you think? I mean, it's obviously top half, but where do you think it places in PTA land?
Where do I think? As if I haven't already fucking constructed
Oh,
this,
is it
Owen.
on your
I do
letterboxed?
have it. Yeah, I have it at number 2 at the moment.
What do you have at number one?
Good guess on the film, bro.
There Will Be Blood, of course.
Yeah, I'm so that movie. Like both of these, I would consider in the masterpiece conversation.
Hmm.
There Will Be Blood. I have never been more transfixed by somebody's performance. And I always like to give a little like added layer of credit to old man performances. And I know that sounds insane, but old men don't capture me. Old men don't capture me the way that other groups of people normally do in cinema. And I don't know if this is like residual um like confusing times from like The Godfather and stuff where I just like confused all of those men together and it's kind of like seeped its way through other movies. But I find in older movies that older men aren't necessarily afforded a lot of like interesting characterization. I'm making broad statements by the way here.
Hmm.
There's obviously movies that do, but I think in general, I don't know, I've never latched onto them personally and PTA has given me so many old men that I have found so compelling, and Daniel Plainview is just so interesting. Like I've spent so much of my time after watching it, kind of just thinking about him, and also the performance. Like I'd be interested to watch it in a crowd. Obviously, it's been memed and whatever, so there'd be laughter there. And I know one of our friends who, if I watched it with, would be in hysterics. But watching it alone,
Sorry, is that Samuel?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I did
uh,
wonder.
um, watching it alone, the like funny quote unquote scenes, the like quotable lines are fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like they're so he's just insane. Um, very good movie. Sorry, yeah. Where would you rank this?
I think it's my top three. I
Would you
don't
have above
know.
it?
Well, I don't. I'm not
Oh,
putting them one, two, three, but it's that There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread. I fucking love Phantom Thread.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I can safely say it's above Licorice Pizza and Punch Drunk Love for me. And then the rest of them I have to still go and catch up on. So
Interesting.
yeah,
So I'm assuming you wouldn't recommend this movie though, because it's not top two.
yeah, it's yeah, those grapes hold me back. I wouldn't bother
Yeah.
seeing this, guys. Um, no, go see it.
Dumbass movie. Go. Go watch. What else is in the cinema? Even I can't even make a joke.
Yeah, what is there stuff that's
Go watch Taylor
shit in the
Swift's
cinema?
new movie instead.
Off topic, I guess. Now that we've moved on from this film, we both recommend it, so I guess the conversation's done.
Yes.
Not something we normally talk about. Um, I've not listened to the new Taylor Swift album. I'm assuming you have.
Don't you fucking dare.
What, you don't want me to incriminate you with
I
your
you,
opinions on Taylor Swift?
if I let loose on this, I feel like I'm gonna get attacked.
Well, good for you
I
because we don't have enough viewers for that to happen. So, yeah, no, I found it so interesting watching, because I'm very much an outsider to this. There was a point, remember, where I listened to most of Taylor Swift's discography last year. A lot of it
hmm
for the first time because I'd obviously heard it on the radio. She's everywhere. And not being as clued in. And she is someone who, especially because of like Evermore and Folklore are the two albums that are like the some of the newer ones. Um, gets praised for like her lyricism and things. And then now seeing essentially like I think the Swifties be slightly disappointed with an album, and
hmm
it's allowed non-Swifties to just let loose and unleash. And now I'm seeing the complete pendulum swing back of people being like, "Oh, the lyricism was never that good." Um, I think this is all put together with the fact that Taylor Swift is now a billionaire. I'm not sure how long she has been a billionaire, like a couple of years now, I
hmm
think. But it's all just stacking on top of each other. The fact that I think apparently this has more conservative views within the songs, the way that she's treated other female artists in the past, and then I think also on this album,
hmm
there's so much happening. It's kind of funny to see from where I'm sitting. Um, yeah, I
Do you
just
want
thought
me?
maybe you had anything to
I,
say about it.
I could talk about it.
I'd be
Um,
happy to hear
let
about
me
it.
just say, let me just say, if anybody does happen to listen to this and disagree with me, cool, you have your opinion, like whatever. I've seen people get like really bad hate um because of their opinions on this, because of their well-founded criticism. And I would just like to say, maybe take a look in the mirror, because the way that people are acting like this is the way that people are acting about political ideologies, and that you can draw parallels there. So whatever. But the album's horrible.
Oh wow,
Like
okay.
like a bad listening experience. I wouldn't call myself a Swiftie. I was one of these people who a friend told me I would really like folklore, and I do. Um, it's not like one of my favorite albums, but it's definitely one that I revisit, kind of like autumn time. I love the album.
And like an
Um,
obvious favorite from Taylor Swift for you.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I wouldn't say it's like leagues above everything else that she's done. I do like a few of her records. But folklore I would have in this like collection of albums that masterpiece is a weird word with music, but it's something I hold in very high regard. That album, and I do like a lot of her stuff. The last album that she came out with, the Tortured Poets Department, had like 40 songs or something in it, and people I think criticized her a lot for being,
That was the
you
start of it.
know, y-
There was a little
yes,
it was like the barriers were coming down a little bit. And people were like,
yeah,
what like
absolutely.
some of the things I think she was saying in the songs, people were like, that's weird. This is like a nearly 40-year-old woman. Like there's just like weird things that she came out with.
However, I do think there's still a lot of merit to that record of being this person who clearly went through a lot of like love and heartbreak, and it feels very fragmented, but it feels fragmented like purposefully. It's like somebody's reflecting on the entirety of their life, on all the relationships that they've had with people, on the relationships that they've not had with people, on like friendships and all that stuff. It's all to do with like relationships, and it's wieldly and it's unsprawling. Sprawling, sorry, not unsprawling. Um, and it's so like messy, but I think there is some like beauty in that, even if it isn't like a perfect like cohesive album or whatever. Anyway, um, she seems to be somebody that like takes on board criticism and then bounces back the other way. So her last album being this, messy, kind of like everything on paper, um, like meditation on her relationships. She seems to have like bounced back the other way. I mean, prior to this album's release, she was working with new producers who she worked with back when she made 1989 and Reputation, which were like pop albums. And this people thought was going to be a return to like that poppy, that like shake it off, blank space, whatever, Taylor Swift. Um, but she pitched it as being the lyricism of folklore with the production of like 1989 and stuff. And I think um, I keep quite up to date with like new music. I listen to a lot of music, so I'm like listening to new albums and stuff. So I was aware that this was coming out. And I think I got a little excited. One, because who doesn't love a cheesy pop album to like run to or work out to or whatever. But two, no, like the concept, just based on the title of an album, The Life of a Showgirl. If you are going to actually unpack and talk about what it feels like to be at the level of success that you are at, which look, maybe one or two other people in their entire lifetimes have achieved the level of success that she has, and them being like Michael Jackson. I don't think Beyonce is as like commercially successful as her. She's
Right.
more like artistically successful.
Okay.
Possibly the Beatles. I can't think of anybody else that would have the life experiences that she does. So if you pitch a record being like, this is about what my life was like doing 300 or something shows all across the world. Like, I just think conceptually that's so interesting to get an insight into somebody's mind that, people aren't going to live that life. And then the record that's presented is this really bizarre record where she's kind of talking about how in love she is with Travis Kelce and don't judge her for that. That's what she wants to do. As you said, it leans a little conservative with her values of like, I just want to sit down, settle down with some kids, and don't judge me for that. Um, I don't actually mind that. I think it's interesting in the political climate that we're in to release an album like that, being of who she is. But if that's what she wanted to talk about, fine. There's one, the production is just an absolute mess, and lyrically it's horrible. Like there's truly some atrocious lyrics in this. There's a song that is just about Travis Kelce's dick, um, which is abhorrent. It's probably the best song on the album, though, in my opinion, production wise, which are up there. It says something. But she's like, it's weird. It's like dipping into like lanes that were never her. Like in that she's very much doing a Sabrina Carpenter thing, but you're listening to the song, and honestly, it's given me a newfound appreciation for some Sabrina Carpenter songs because you're like, why does this sound like fucking perverse? It comes off so not playful and cheeky, like a lot of Sabrina Carpenter stuff. It just comes off as weird. And I don't think it's got anything to do with age, and I think some people will put it down to that or whatever. I think it's the delivery of the person giving it. Uh, in line with that, she tries to do this like "I'm a bad girl" kind of like delivery in a few songs. There's a song called "Cancelled," which I actually think is probably the biggest mistake on the album. Like conceptually, when you're talking about like leaning into this conservatism and stuff, the whole stuff with like Blake Lively and whatever being really close friends with her, and you have lyrics like "Good thing I like all my friends cancelled," like I want my friends to be cancelled, and it's like when you are who you are and you're playing around now in a lot of conservative circles, fucking weird. And then there's the whole like Charlie XCX diss, which is mental to me. It's more mental to me because, well, it's punching down, firstly, which is always a weird thing to see, but it's not like diss tracks have ever been done before.
Hmm.
It's weird to me that um, Charlie came out with a song last year that was so interesting about. I mean, people have theorized what Sympathy is a Knife about is about. Um, so it's only based on theories, but I think it's quite evident in the lyrics that she's talking about Taylor Swift because she's talking about somebody else who's dating, um, another member of the 1975, and she sees them backstage and she feels so insecure around them because she'll never achieve the levels of success or popularity or the accolades that she's received. So she feels like insecure about her career. It's a really lovely song lyrically. And then it's obviously got that like brat aesthetic and production to it, which is like such an interesting dichotomy. And then for the takeaway of that to be like you're so obsessed with me, like oh that's just not what the song is about. All of this, I wouldn't be that invested if it weren't for her upholding this portrayal of being like the greatest songwriter of a generation and like her engagement announcement being like your favorite English or the world's English teacher. And I'm like, well, you misread a song. You had a like very bad interpretation of a very basic piece of like literature, for lack of a better word, like in that song. Which brings me to my biggest criticism. The lead single on the album is called "The Fate of Ophelia." It's a decent pop song. It's whatever. I cannot believe how she probably will just get away with this. The song is about Ophelia, who is a character in Shakespeare's Hamlet. For people who don't know, long story short, Ophelia drowns herself to escape the oppression that she felt from the men in her life, her husband, her lover, I think her brother, um, because her husband's Hamlet, men in her life anyway, um, and she drowns. There are like, sorry, she drowns herself. There are academic interpretations of that song, of that play, where people kind of theorize she drowned and that was an act of autonomy. It was her actually, escaping the clutches of men and masculinity and the patriarchy by taking her own life, and that is one interpretation of that play. The other interpretation is that she never fully achieved autonomy because she drowned herself in a river and that river swept her away. So she was never truly free. She had no means of escape from a patriarchal world. It's a really fascinating literary character um, about female agency. And the song that she's put forward is "Thank God you saved me from my fate of Ophelia because I found you. Like, you saved me, this man. You
Hmm.
saved me from this fate because I
Hmm.
fell in love with you." And it's just a misinterpretation of a really famous Shakespeare play. And I find it baffling that that's not like more of a talking point or like you have like outlets that are giving this album 10 out of 10 and whatever, and you're like but like objectively that can't be true when somebody is taking a piece of literature, misinterpreting it, and then making it and centering a man. I just think that's wild, and I think again that's where it leans back into this like conservatism and the state of the world right now and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I had a real issue with it.
Yeah, I did see just on the thing about her like having loads of kids. I did see that there
Mm.
was like a line about having loads that all look like her or like a neighborhood or something. It was very like it was
Oh,
very much
like
like white
eugenicsy.
neighborhood, yeah.
Huh.
Um, so yeah, it does seem a bit of a strange album to come out with anyone, to be honest, especially Taylor Swift.
I think it's like, you know, art is contextual. It's contextual in the way that we're consuming it in the world that we're in. I think that's why, like, when Sabrina Carpenter, her album cover dropped, and people were so perturbed by that because they were like, well, look what's happening to females' bodies, their like rights in the States. Um, and there wasn't any real like depth behind it when she spoke about it. It's more like, I'm being funny, tongue in cheek. And I think, art is art, artists can choose whatever they want to do and stuff, but when you achieve a level of success like that, I think there has to be a degree of thought put into what you're putting out into the world.
Mm.
Um, but also, I don't know. It kind of has put me off her as I mean, I was never invested. I don't get invested in celebrities like that because I think it's stupid too.
I think it's
Like,
dangerous because in my
yes,
very few years of experience on this planet, I think there's been so many people that even I've like been interested in or held to like a certain level, and then you just
hmm
find stuff out about them or they do something, and you're like, oh, so you're not this idol. You're just as human as anybody else, and maybe a horrible person depending on who we're talking about. Um, so yeah, I don't think anyone should be held in that regard.
it's just I think it's really weird when it comes to her how completely categorically infatuated people are with her. I have friends in my life that are Swifties, people that I would consider to be like quite thorough with um, their literary analysis and like consumption of art, I guess. But when it comes to her, it's kind of like that's out the window, and I think it's wild to see. Honestly, though, it's been very eye-opening. I have drawn a lot of parallels from this kind of album cycle. I've been off the internet for a while, but like the little that I've consumed,
What's a while for you?
um, like the last 3 weeks, I
Can't
think my
even tell.
TikTok's down to like 10, 15 minutes a day,
What?
and a
But
lot of
Jack,
that
the
is me
culture,
like
you're missing
editing.
out.
And well, am I though? When it's
You're
like
absolutely
people
not.
just fighting, I was like,
I think
I
you're
don't
you're
know. I think
still
it's
more clued in to what's going on than I am. I think you've managed to curate enough sources in other places that you know what's going on without having slop shoved in your face.
yeah. I mean, that is I think the struggle of the internet is like finding the gems in the slop,
The diamonds in the rough is now the gems in the slop.
the gems in the slop. Get that on the t-shirt. Can we have the plot to go t-shirts?
Okay,
Where the
that's
gems in the slop?
that's the first one. That will do. Make sure to make a note of that in Notion.
Oh my God. Yeah, wait, I'm writing it down as we speak. I don't know how much of that will stay in the episode. I feel like I spoke for far too long on that.
No, I like that. Um,
Um,
maybe we could just move on to a question after that, if you'd like.
yeah. Um,
Instead of the one thing I will point out is just because at the start I don't actually think we caught it in the episode, but you saw my setup and you were like, "Have you ever seen Citizen Kane?" And I was like,
oh,
"Yeah, I
fuck
have."
off.
The I felt like I had to because I saw this in a charity shop and I was like, "That's great set dressing. I'll get that." Having not seen Citizen Kane, so I watched it last week because I was like, "I need to have seen this
Fuck
film.
off.
I need to have seen this film." Before I use this. I feel like it would be ridiculous for me to throw. It's like people wearing like artists' t-shirts and jumpers and not caring for them at all. Which I think is fine if you thrift something, but if you're buying it like
Uh-huh.
off the internet, like you should probably know what you're listening to. In the same way that
Did
throwing that up on the
you
wall, I should probably know what I'm watching.
did you think that I'd point it out?
Yeah, I think I did think that.
Yeah, okay.
But I was going to do that regardless of you,
Yeah.
you know, being like, "Have you seen it?" Um,
Um,
Yeah. I also watched the Smashing Machine. I just don't have much to say about it. Um,
That's fine. Do you want
yeah.
to do a rapid review? Because I also don't have much to say about him.
I genuinely, it's so little. I liked it, but I wasn't over the moon about it. Um, I liked the performances. It's nice seeing. I actually wish I saw more of Emily Blunt. It's nice seeing uh Dwayne Johnson do more, to be honest. We've seen him
Totally.
do a lot of I Am the Rock roles, and I felt a bit weird about the ending. I there's like the real world bit,
Yeah.
spoilers, I guess, and I don't know. I don't know how I felt about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I I felt very bizarre about the movie because I think it is so competently directed. Like I was stunned by how well directed it is. I think it's got this lovely atmosphere to it. It feels so like taut and real, and I just think Benny Safdie managed to find my God, managed to find a way in to a biopic that was like really unique. But on the other side of that coin, I also, because you know me, I'm not a massive fan of biopics in general, and this was something so radically different. But I also don't know if that worked because in my mind, it was so broad strokes.
Hmm.
Like in this 2 hour movie, you are tackling the start of the UFC, the toxic masculine, like this toxic idea of masculinity that's
Hmm.
upheld within that industry. This main character who is struggling with failure for the first time in his life. Um, Emily Blunt and him's on and off again insane relationship. And I think it's only scratching the surface of all of them, and none of it is getting that deep. So it ends up just feeling like very broad, like a well directed but very broad general movie.
That's summed up well. That's probably why I didn't connect with it as much. There was a moment that actually did get me. There was like I had an
Oh,
emotional moment. But and I'm sure you can imagine where roughly. Like there's a couple of points where the Rock's character is having a rough time,
I
and
actually don't know where you're, if I'm
uh,
being honest.
there's a specific bit in a hospital, and it's a conversation between
Oh,
two men that probably normally wouldn't be vulnerable that were,
yeah.
and that got me.
Very cool relationship to see on screen. I liked their dynamic.
Me too. I think it's
I
one of the
also
strongest things about the film.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Um, I also loved the scenes between The Rock and Emily Blunt. Thought they were brilliant. I thought this where that movie shined.
Mm.
However, I don't think Emily Blunt's character was written all that well, and I think that's a damn shame because she gives such a good performance. But there's like points in the movie where I was like, "What's where's your character motivation came from? What? Why are you like this?" And
It's almost like
you
there's
you
missing
basically just
scenes or
turned into a
something.
plot point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So a real shame. Because I really liked her. I liked The Rock's performance a lot. I don't want to discredit him. I think he's one of the only people that could have played a role like this,
Mm.
and that's saying something. And it's far better than a lot of the stuff, that he's been outputting recently. But I thought she was really, really good. Um, just wish she had more.
Mm. Yeah, I genuinely wish we'd see more of her. And I think now that you've made the point of it felt broad strokes, I
Hmm.
understand where my feelings of the film come from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't know if you felt this way, but when it ended, I feel like sometimes in traditional biopics, which again I don't particularly enjoy, but there's that sense of like, oh, cool, or oh, I feel bad, or like there's the journey that I've been on throughout that film, the end point that they want me to get to, I get there, even if I didn't love everything in the film. This ending, it ended, and I was like, what am I supposed to feel for this character? I get it's sad,
Yeah,
but
there's like they have oftentimes in these biopics they'll have like a big event or something happens, and then that's normally how the film does end. But this big event happened, and then they cut away from the big event. It's almost like there was still scenes missing for me from the point
Yeah.
of time that we were in, and then they have the later bit where they kind of go, "This is where they're at now." And yeah, I think I just was sitting there like, did we end early? It was,
I also wonder if, because there is that, like climactic scene, which I'm sure if you know the story of what happened, it won't be a surprise to you. I actually was a little surprised at the direction that it ended up going. But I think there's a long like tracking sequence that I think is meant to make you feel emotional or type away, and it just didn't. And I don't know whether that was his performance or if it was the choice to shoot it the way they did. But where the film portion of the movie wraps up, I just felt so like,
yeah,
and that
I know what you
sucks.
mean. Yeah.
Very well directed though. My God. Um,
Do you see anything else?
I have.
I sorry.
Well, I was going to ask you. Did you see Goldeneye?
Yeah, I saw GoldenEye. That was the next thing I was going
How
to
was
mention.
that?
I really
Because
enjoyed
I,
it.
I sadly missed it.
Um, it's so funny. Have you seen Bond films that aren't Daniel Craig?
No.
Okay, neither had I. This is nothing like those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's totally a Bond, and I'm assuming this is what it's like all before Daniel Craig. Bond is a sex pest.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just it's proper like I think I've heard the comments of like by modern standards, Bond is like you know what I think these in these films he's supposed to be suave and he matches that at some points, but I think by modern standards it comes across as like sleaze.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just we were the what I think was there four or five of us sitting there and bursting out laughing at scenes um that were, and I think they were supposed to be funny, but like at least sometimes, but it just felt like it was just us laughing. Um,
Was everybody you were with laughing?
yeah, I think. Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was like, I was on the end of a row of people.
Okay.
Uh, but like there's bits of it I love, bits of it I didn't. There's a bit that just like there's the two characters, and obviously there's the love interest, and they're on a mission to do something, and then they just settle down on a beach for 10 minutes, and it's like they need to be somewhere, but it looks like they're going to live their life here. And I don't know why it happens. I think we all walked in and we were like, yeah, that's the bit of the film that is just the worst. But it's great. Alan Cummings in it, and he plays a Russian. I'm assuming his accent's not good. By my standard, it was fine because I obviously don't have the ear for the Russian accent.
You
Um,
don't? Oh.
but he has a good catchphrase in the film, and it's well played because he does it a couple of times. His character is proper. His character is sleazy, like
Mm,
from the get go. Like he is just a bit
mm.
creepy. Um, and then you have like the opening is very good. That was my favorite part of the film. It's like you're straight into the action, and then they have like the comedy. There's moments like obviously they do the tension thing, like I guess in one battle after another, but then they're playing bits for comedy. And I'd seen that scene somewhere before, and I'm not sure why I'm aware of the scene because I haven't seen the other Bond films. Maybe I
Mm.
watched someone like break it down on YouTube or something. And then you have Bond like drive off a cliff and dive after a plane, and it's like Mission Impossible, but without the the like actually doing it. But it looks really good. Like I was shocked by
Huh.
how good it looked because this would be the 90s or whatever. I mean, obviously you can tell that it's green screen or whatever, but I was like surprised because nowadays you'd have much more like computational power behind it. It would maybe be CGI or green screen again, but it would somehow look worse. Again, I think
Mm.
it's that thing of like people had less, but they really were technically skilled back then, and they were able to match things up to look good. Um, yeah, I've
Nice.
yeah, that's what. So I was a Smashing Machine, Citizen Kane, which I enjoyed. I don't think it's worth talking about Citizen Kane. I'm sure that's been done to death. GoldenEye. I had a little witchy weekend. Get Doctor Who in there. I watched the Shakespeare's Code
Oh,
episode with the
Jesus
witches, and
Christ.
then I also watched for the first time Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Yeah, which I very much enjoyed. It feels very much like a 90s film. Um, it's actually one that I think I watched and was like, I'm surprised that this has as much of a cult following as it does because it's
Oh.
just like good. Like it's just like like
Oh.
I was surprised that I don't know if that got a cinema release, but I was like I could see this being a Disney Channel original film, like that quality of film. So I'm surprised at how much it is culturally. Not sure where that's come from. Maybe people just didn't have stuff to watch in the 90s. I don't know.
Mm.
Not to be a hocus pocus here. That might be the thing that people come for. I enjoyed myself, but I was just shocked by like the fact that this thing was on a pedestal. And you know, if number two is bad, then how bad is it?
Mm. Yeah, I have not heard good things.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's me.
I don't want to keep this going forever, but I'll mention two things. I'm not going to mention a lot of the stuff that I've seen actually because I'll end up talking about it. I imagine next week. I started some pre-festival screenings for the London Film Festival, and I've seen some really interesting stuff. Some more like independent-y things, which is cool. Um, but I want to mention Peacemaker episode 7. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I have actually.
I I don't know if I want to open this up because I feel like we could talk about it forever.
I think
Um,
we could. Let's talk about it, and then after the fact, we'll talk about what, like, how we'll shorten the podcast or whatever. Let's just get it out of our systems, and we'll see what we can
um,
do with it.
so I think this is really interesting. If anybody is still listening to this, and listened to our Peacemaker episode last week, or sorry, hasn't listened to our Peacemaker episode last week, go back and listen to that because I think it's really interesting contextually for where I'm at now. I thought that episode 7 was super disappointing. Um,
Yeah,
in its utilization of Earth X, I can't believe how little they did with it. It's like really shocking to me.
the thing is, I know what you mean. I wouldn't say I was all that disappointed because was never, I never let myself necessarily get excited by the season.
Yeah.
Um, I just don't think we're done there fully.
That's why I'm like, I want to talk about it because it's how I'm feeling now
Just
versus
hesitant. But I think
the
that
end
it
of the season.
matters. Uh, I think it contextualizes. I mean, we're talking about where we are. The last episode's not out. That contextualizes how
Yeah.
we feel. Um, yeah, I do think. Again, I think it's one of the shortest episodes because I'd looked this up.
Uh-huh.
If you remove the recap, the opening, and the end credits, it's 28 minutes. Um,
Ooh.
which is very, very short content wise. Next week's episode is supposed to be one of the longest of the season, at like almost
Cool.
double the runtime, which is crazy. So I do think that matters, but you don't want to be watching a season of a TV show that is holding back on you for the whole season of the TV show.
Yeah.
I think, like what you're saying, they've not utilized EarthX enough. It would have been nice had it been utilized more and not just in this episode. I think if they had a good
Hmm.
3 episodes of really doing the most that they could with Earth X, it could have been a very good season. But I think the way it's sitting just now, there's a lot of build up and maybe not enough payoff unless the next episode is unreal.
And there was like interesting threads. I think the stuff with Adebayo and oh my
Judo
God,
Master?
is it? Yes, Judo Master. Super interesting. Really interesting threads to pull at, but it happens so fast. Like he saves her so fast. They get to the house, their conversation interesting, especially since Judo Master has been left there for however long. Like interesting threads to pull at, but nothing happened that was I think they wasted it a bit. I will say, really interesting resolution to where his dad is.
I know.
I'm a little pissed that they've killed that narrative off now,
Yeah,
but it was still interesting nonetheless.
the way that they play the music,
Yeah, yeah.
like as he's saying that, and you're like, wait, his dad here is a hero, and then like, then he's no longer. No, I do think it's an interesting way of then motivating his brother to be like the overarching villain of the season,
Yeah,
but it feels like maybe at the expense of the viewer, somewhat.
yeah, which sucks.
Yeah,
Interested to see where it goes though, and Double the Vigilante was what I wanted in my
it
life.
was
So
double the fun, just double the nonsense.
yeah.
They're great together. And actually, I'm worried about the other vigilante. That's how I left that episode.
Oh
Not
yeah, because he
knowing.
gets left there.
Yeah, the way that he flips about to kick the door is like cool as shit as well. Like
Yeah,
he does that, and
it's so
Harker's like,
cool. I've been rewatching the first season
"Oh,
as
okay,
well.
wow,
Um, just literally like while I'm walking around doing dishes and shit, it's like the thing that play. I'm trying to like absorb that kind of stuff instead of internet because I'm like internet not fun. Peacemaker fun. The first season's really good. But I forgot how much of a sociopath Vigilante is in the first season.
yeah." I think they've dialed it down this season. I think they just clued you back into what he is at the start, and then like he just has like a one liner or something every episode this season.
I will say as well, see going back, season one feels very James Gunny in the crass sense, where a
Mm.
lot of the characters are making like I don't know, there's like a lot of lesbian jokes from John Cena at like Adebayo's expense, and they're not like demeaning or anything. It's still like comedy. But it's interesting to see this second season. It's kind of skirted away. I think that's obviously because Peacemaker's matured as a character, but it's skirted away from a lot of the like um, poke fun at people humor to I think more well-rounded humor.
Well, that's good.
Um, yeah,
I wonder if that's just James Gunn's taste changing or him growing as a person or maybe sitting in a different universe. He doesn't know. Maybe these are the better kind of jokes to have.
I do think it's the I think it's the way he's trying to characterize Peacemaker now. If I was
Mm.
to boil it down to anything, because his later stuff that was pre Peacemaker, so like the Suicide Squad and the Guardian stuff, felt less crass anyway. They were getting less crass, and then Peacemaker season one, upon reflection, feels more in line with that. But I
Mm.
think it's interesting to write comedy that way as an evolution of character, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, and the other thing I would briefly mention was Gen V. Have you watched any of Gen V?
No, I think I only knew that show was on a week or two ago. I
Nice.
think it's been terribly advertised. I've not seen a single
Huh.
piece of advertisement for it. Yeah, I think I saw TikToks from like people that were watching it. This hasn't been pushed towards me at all. So
It's very interesting you say that as well. I think you'll get a lot out of this. I've only seen a few episodes,
I
but
intend to watch it. It's
yeah,
actually
I
now that I'm
imagine
caught up with
so.
everything, I think it might be the thing that I settled down to watch. Just last night, I did an episode of Peacemaker and two episodes of Only Murders. So
Do not spoil anything. I'm so far behind on that, so I've just decided I'm gonna leave it and then I'm gonna watch it when I come back up. So I'm
let me
gonna save
know.
it.
Yeah, let me know what you think about it because we touched on Only Murders and how we think the season's weaker. At least the
We
first
did
couple of
it
episodes.
personally, not on the
Um,
podcast.
yeah, personally,
Yeah.
I'm still not all that enthused with this season. So
Okay. That's what that actually means nothing to me
mm.
because that's kind of how I've always felt about this show, but still enjoy it.
But
Um,
see, I always like the first two were really like cozy. To is a weird word for a show about
no, no, no.
murders, but like you get it, you get it.
I get it.
And then three and four, I just felt like we were building up. I don't know what
Four is
towards.
great.
I love three a lot as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, uh, and it
Do you
just
have a ranking of the seasons? I know you don't like to rank shit, but
not really. I just think the last two are better. No, that's not true. The first. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the show. I think season two is the weakest, aside from
I would
this
agree.
season.
I would say uh, uh, one or four. I don't know. Three, two.
Yeah, fair. I might like three more than one. That's why I was like, I'd have to rewatch it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But one's so like one like
Oh, three is Paul Rudd.
yeah.
So good.
Anyway, that's where I'm at with TV right now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the reason I think you'd get a lot of it out of it is I've kind of noticed the more that I've been thinking about the boys, um, that the political commentary that they are making, the absurdism of that is just slowly becoming less absurd, and it's not because they're becoming less absurd, it's because our world is becoming more absurd, which I think is really like a fascinating piece of art to analyze alongside the world is really interesting. This
I
season,
sorry.
oh, no, no, go, go.
I felt that watching one battle after another. There
Oh,
was a
yeah.
lot of comedy that, like I said, I laughed at the film a lot, but there was a lot of it that I couldn't laugh at because I was like, this is played for laughs and it's too real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yes. Yes. And The Boys has always, I think, been like that, where it's been like, oh, fuck. Like, as the time has went on, it's becoming less and less funny to laugh at or to laugh with. And it's more like this, I don't know, it's becoming more like a social, like, commentary show that is just, like, harrowing. And I don't know, I find that really interesting. Gen V is um it's really in the weeds of where we are politically in our world, and it's fascinating.
Right.
um they're not like in other seasons of The Boys, it's kind of been, touched around, and there's like it's more metaphorical and whatever. And then the last season of The Boys, I think it felt very much like a parallel that now, Gen V is the first season of TV within this universe that's happening since January of this year. So I think the political commentary when it comes to America is just more. They're on the ball. They're on the ball with it. I don't really want to say much since you've not seen anything, but
Can I ask,
it's really interesting.
separate from all that, still Gen Z though, there was obviously a character that in real life passed away. Um, how how naturally do you think they handled that?
I was literally just about to say that, but I have to pick up. Did you say Gen Z?
Gen V,
Okay, thank God.
brilliant. I mean, that's why the show's called that.
Yeah, of course. Um, it's handled. Um, it's handled quite beautifully. Obviously, I agree with the decision not to recast them and to find ways around it. I think it places the show in a far more somber lane. Um, for the first episode, definitely, but his presence is still felt in. I think I'm 3 episodes in. His presence is still felt. He is a plot point there talking about him. There's a reason why everything's happening that's surrounding his character. The times where it doesn't work is when you have like the comedy that was in the first season that's kind of rubbing up against these more like somber scenes. I think as the season's going on, I'm getting more used to that. I think just initially, I think after the first episode to go into episode two, and for it to be like, never mind, whatever the plot is of the second season, and you're like back to the shenanigans. It it takes a little bit to get into, but
Right.
I'm enjoying it. I really like the characters in that show. Um, I found, I think I said this to you when I watched the first season, but I thought the first season of this show was far better than The Boys. And I enjoyed The Boys, but I just found the characters more interesting
Mhm.
and kind of playing a lot with the powers being parallels to mental health and stuff was super cool. The characters that I found interesting in the first season continue to be interesting here. I think Kate, who's Touch Lady, I don't know, I presume you remember, but if not, and Marie, like the main character, are really, really, really cool people. So yeah, enjoying it. Would recommend.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Should we move on to a question?
I think we should. I'm gonna grab my charger as well
Are you ready for your question?
for my question.
Yeah. Well, I always ask it
For-
to you, even though it's for the both of us. But
Yeah, go for it.
all right, now I don't feel good about it being like this is your question. The question
Hey, I'm
is,
ready to answer.
if you had to replace your co-host with a fictional character from film or
Oh,
TV to host the podcast with, who would it be and why? Would you go for a
Caesar
character?
Flickerman from the Hunger Games.
Oh wait, I asked you this question already. Yeah.
No, wait. We have had this question before, and I think Caesar Flickman was your answer.
Yeah, it was. Would you go for a character? Yeah, because you went, now I can't think of anything. But I had to give you
Yes,
an
I did.
example to help you along, I thought. And then, like, obviously that didn't really work out. Um,
Wow, that's stuck in my brain though.
yeah. Would you go for a character that has a similar vibe to your co-host or completely different?
Completely different. I don't think this podcast works.
How, how dare you? Okay, we're gonna have to speed up with this answer as well because my laptop's plugged in but not charging. So
Lovely.
I don't know what the deal is with that.
So my answer. Ooh. Oh, my answer. Um,
Let me think.
Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. I think I'd have a great podcast with her. Oh no, no, I'm changing my answer. Ben from Parks and Rec, because we're both nerdy as fuck, and I've
I've
been
not
compared to him.
I've not seen Parks and Rec, so this means absolutely nothing to me.
Yep.
The person that asked this absolutely loves the Muppets, so I think like Miss Piggy would be like a really funny one.
Follow-up question: does that co-host have a similar or dissimilar personality to your current co-host?
I think dissimilar, but I've not watched enough of the
Nice.
Muppets content to not watched enough of the Muppets content to pin down the personalities of all the Muppets, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're all more like characters in my head. I do think she has a lot of energy, and I think sometimes I can be quite low energy, and you know that would help things, you know.
Mm-hmm. You'd be
But
insulted a lot.
that's fine. I think well, that's more like real life, Jack.
Don't you fucking dare.
No, I think that would add a nice little spice to the podcast.
Okay.
That is not me
So
inviting you to insult me. You can keep
Owen
those to
wants to
yourself.
replace me with a pig. Anyway,
Do you know, I just think it would be really funny. Like me and a
yeah, I think it
Muppet.
would. I actually would pay to watch that. You have your Miss Piggy podcast, and I'll take Kermit.
It's like episode 50.
And we'll go like,
I saw I saw a TikTok. I don't know if I sent you it, but it was like someone doing an impression of the Muppets dancing.
yes, I've seen this. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's unreal. I don't want to do it
yeah.
now because I feel like I'd mess it up. But the way he does it is excellent. So look up human doing Muppets dance.
What has this episode been? It's truly been all over the place.
I don't
But
know. I feel it's so funny because I think we lock in for reviews a lot, and then it all goes all over the place. But I love it. I love that structure.
well, hey, if you love that structure too, then make sure to give us a like and follow on.
Spotify,
And
iTunes,
and
YouTube.
sorry, pause. iTunes.
Oh, Apple Podcasts. I told you I've had little sleep.
I, you've also teleported a decade back in time.
Oh my god! What the fuck is
The
this?
um and
TikTok,
and
Instagram.
lovely. Next week, join us.
It's
That's
it's
it.
just it's Tron Ares we're covering next week. Yeah.
It is Tron Ares that Owen is covering next week.
Are you not seeing Tron Ares?
I will try my best when
How
I tell you.
fucking dare you let me see that? Just me.
Um, like
That
the
actually
so
might just be me. Our friends might not come see that.
no, Samuel's going with you, know.
I think so, but Samuel has taste, so like I wouldn't put it past him being like this is bad enough that I won't see it.
However, right with also okay, many things, but the Nine Inch Nails score, like that's the reason I want to go see the movie. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross haven't made a bad score.
Fair dues. I just like I know it's gonna be slop, but I'm hoping that I can enjoy the slop.
I mean, it feels. I do not mean this in a demeaning way, but it feels up your alley for like shitty movies that you enjoy.
Shitty sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So if I can be bothered to drag my ass to like a post 8 p.m. screening on Friday, that's the only time I have free.
Easy.
Oh, and I have to be up again in the morning. Like you don't understand.
Post 8 p.m. Yeah, send me your calendar. I'll find a space.
Uh, we'll see. If not, I think next week what I'll do is I'm gonna do first impressions of the stuff I've seen.
Cool.
Maybe the major stuff. I probably won't review anything because a lot of the stuff we'll end up reviewing when Owen sees it. So
When Owen catches up.
yeah.
I like how we've both moved, and I'm so focused on like trying to figure out this part of like I want to like figure out meal prep and stuff, and you've gone straight into like I'm gonna do everything I can do in London.
Um,
Every film I can conceivably see.
let me tell you, at some point, this is gonna crash and burn.
Fizzle
I
out.
think honestly,
Well,
after the film festival, I'm going to be like, okay, reassess. Let's relax.
well, that's fine because you knew you were gonna do it for the film festival, so
Yeah. There was actually like warnings. They were like, network with people at the screenings that you're at. However, remember, some people have had long days. So if they're not as like friendly and upbeat,
alright. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, I'll be covering the slop, and Jack will be covering art next week.
I also might cover slop, so who knows.
Great.
Oh, the end of Peacemaker as well.
Oh, sure. Should probably talk about that. We started it.
Yeah, we started it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Join us
Bye.
then. Bye.